a reading for you about somebody who has a bit of a negative viewpoint on life. We have the Ghoul and the Imposter Syndrome card from the Path of Shadows. In the shadows I dwell, feeding on what I can, not remembering when was the last time that life tasted well. And for the imposter syndrome card, it says, in a room full of equals, I stand in doubt, a stranger in my own triumphs, shadows cast about. So nothing's good enough for this person, or nothing seems to get them out of this expectation that things are not going to go the way that they want. And I think a lot of that begins with whether or not they feel good about themselves. Hello, Carrie. How are you doing? So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. I hope you're having a good day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedonestarot@gmail.com. You can find that in the description box along with more information on how to become a member, as well as how to get your very own homemade soy candle from my Etsy shop. But let's dive in with the Pulp Tarot. I'm glad to hear it, Carrie. What else do we have? Justice, the Four of Cups, Sun in the reverse. So I do feel like we have the Justice card here because you have a decision to make regarding this person. For some of you, perhaps you are the person with the dark attachment, but I feel like for the majority of you, this is someone that you deal with. It could be on a fairly regular basis, such as a coworker or a family member or even your partner. But this Four of Cups is that sense of disillusionment or frustration, even when things should be a little bit more, I don't know, like you would expect them to be happy or feel like, okay, then things are getting better, or at least it's not as bad as yesterday. But this is someone who seems to continually look for the negative in a situation or refuse to see the, silver lining. What else do we have? Nine of Cups and the Devil. There's that dark attachment. I feel like this individual was raised by someone who was constantly looking for more, and as such, they felt like they were not good enough for their mother or father. Maybe they were raised by a grandparent, but it was difficult, right? To feel connected when the person who was supposed to show them unconditional love failed to do that. Hello, Bex. I'm not really a fan of that, but if you'd like to say hello, go for it. Hello, happy childhood. How's it going? If you're looking for a personal reading, feel free to put your request in a super chat. I do the general reading for the first 30 to 35 minutes, and then I take on personal questions. You can also donate a membership to somebody else if you'd like me to pull some cards for you. So we have the Seven of Cups and the Tower in the reverse. No matter what changes or shifts, even if it is to the, positive, this, what are we calling you? The Ghoul is somebody who seems to be much like the parent that raised them, not interested in feeling better about their circumstances. They're always feeling like there's something around the corner that will be a problem, or they're always complaining about the current circumstances and saying that it's not enough. So they have basically turned out very similar to that parent or that example that was around when they were raised. Queen of Pentacles in the reverse and the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. There is some instability in this person's life that is associated with their professional pursuits or their management of finances. So even if they make a lot of money, they spend more than they earn. Even if they, win the lottery, it's gone within a month. They're not exactly well versed in how to create a stable situation for themselves. So there's a lot of like roller coaster energy here. Two of Swords, the King of Wands, the Eight of Cups in the reverse, and the Seven of Pentacles. So this is your energy. You have this decision that needs to be made. It could be whether or not to hire this person. It could be whether or not to date this person, or whether or not to continue to be in their life or a supportive friend. But the question here is, are they going to change this attitude, or will it always be somebody who's expecting more from you? Hello, Anton. How are you doing? Hello. Is that an I or an L? Is it Lomtic or Almtic? Welcome to the live chat. That's not really what my gifts are for, but you're welcome to chat. We've got the Nine of Wands. So this is causing some concern for you dealing with this person, because you're starting to realize this is someone who seems to always find fault. So you might be basically thinking this is maybe a friendship or a connection that I need to distance myself from. And I would agree, because if they can't deal with this dark attachment, that's something that could impact you. This is Under the Oak. Five of Pentacles. I definitely think this person has financial issues. Two of Cups. And the Three of Pentacles. This could be somebody who's asking you for a loan, or asking if you could, let them crash on your couch. This could be somebody who is maybe even your boss. But the question seems to be, can I actually make something work with this person? Or is this like kind of, I don't want to call them a lost cause, but if this is someone who is kind of entrenched in their negative thoughts or their negative outlook, it's really not your responsibility to pull them out of that. And I feel like they're trying to make it your responsibility, or I feel like they're trying to like somehow convince you that you need to fix things. And I don't think it's your responsibility. We have the Magician in the reverse and the King of Swords in the reverse. So the question is, if they're not willing to do things for themselves to fix the situation, then why would you invest your time and energy into that? I feel like they lie to you and they try to manipulate you. Hello, Flower. How are you doing today? Thank you for the tip. Guidance. Help with Sun. I hope that's going all right, but we will definitely take a look at that. That's such a great way to refer to him. We'll see what we pull on Lucas as well. Am I on the right track? Or missing something? Awesome. I've added that for you. Thank you, Flower. Hello, Rachel. How are you doing? What else do we have? Queen of Wands in the reverse. There's that imposter syndrome. Someone who feels like, I try to make things work, but I always feel like I'm not good enough, or I worry that, putting forth my best effort still will lead to some sort of failure. We have the Page of Swords in the reverse and the Five of Wands in the reverse. So this is someone who needs to help themselves. And while I do feel like you can be an inspiration for this person, you can give them some insight into how you have dealt with yourself, right? It's not your responsibility to teach this person step by step what needs to happen. You're more so an inspiration or a catalyst for them. calling Pudge? Just curious. Oh, I'm glad to hear the kitties are doing well. I feel that with the exhaustion. I'm glad your lawyer is helping. That's awesome. What else do we have? Seven of Wands and the Seven of Cups. All right, so clearly the seven, or the number 7, is important. Timing is some huge consideration for you, because I feel like there's a risk that you would miss out on an important opportunity for yourself if you are caught up in this person's toxic energy. So I feel like it's your decision with that justice at the beginning is, do I continue to try to be friends or connect with this person? Or is it time for me to focus my energy elsewhere? We have another 7, the 7 of Swords. It's in the reverse. So I feel like your intuition's already guiding you to get a little bit of distance between you and the individual with this dark attachment. They've come through as the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, but I think more strongly their energy is, well, Queen of Wands in the reverse and the Magician in the reverse. So there could be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius in this person's chart. I think the decision here is, do you want to continue to help this person, or is there something more important for you to be focused on or pursuing? And the answer is yes, there's something more important for you. And you may end up looking back on this moment and thinking, why didn't I catch this risk? Why didn't I, why wasn't I honest with myself about the fact that this is someone who like chooses that dark energy? Hello. Ha, how are you doing? As Rachel called out, you can do a super chat if you would like me to. That's a good one. If you would like me to pull a card for you. I do personal questions after the general reading, so that would be in about 20 minutes. Let's see. This is the Tarot of the Cat People. What else do we have, please? Nine of Cups, the Devil, the Page of Wands, and the Ten of Swords in the reverse. There's that Nine of Cups and the Devil combination. We got that at the beginning as well. Somebody who has been taught to be a bit unreasonable, or they're never satisfied, which makes me think of a Prince song. What the heck is that song name? I can like hear the song. Anyways, gotta love Prince. They're never going to be happy. They're always looking for the trouble. And not only that, but they're also overly critical of themselves. Thank you, Rachel, when doves cry. Page of Wands and the Ten of Swords in the reverse. So this is about you being honest with yourself as to how this person's operating and their willingness to work on the things that they need to work on. They're not willing. From what I can tell, this is somebody who enjoys where they are and enjoys this dark attachment. They're too comfortable with it. King of Swords in the reverse again. So they live in a distorted reality. You tell them the truth and they might believe it in the moment, but then they like slowly get back to that original sentiment or perspective, because it is something that they were raised to believe, or that negativity was something that they learned from a very young age. So there's that Queen of Wands in the reverse again, and the Tower. You have the ability to disconnect or maybe even block this person who has that dark attachment. And even though the Tower looks like a little bit of a crazy card there, you probably don't want to fall out of a building shaped like a cat. Maybe you do. You're needing to jump ship, basically. You need to focus more on your energy and not get pulled into the chaos that this person seems to enjoy living in. Six of Swords in the reverse, Ace of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles in the reverse. So your choice here with that Justice card at the beginning, you can stay around this Queen of Wands in the reverse if you want, but it's a risky choice to remain in their energy or around them because something negative or pretty draining is about to happen for this person. It's what I'm picturing is what happens when you try to navigate a smaller boat like a tugboat next to a really large boat. Like, I'm pretty sure when the Titanic first set sail, there was a near catastrophe with a tugboat that got too close. This is saying you need that distance between you and this person with a negative mindset, or there is potentially going to be a problem that you experience and you don't deserve to be dealing with that experience. So the advice is to keep your distance. Hello, Envy. How are you doing? Hello, Shu. Feel free to watch and your answer should come to you. But this is a general tarot reading about somebody with a dark attachment, and the advice is for you to distance yourself. We have the Six of Cups and the Strength in the reverse. There's that dark attachment again. Strength in the reverse is essentially the devil card, right? Somebody who is giving in to temptation or is not able to make changes in their life or enjoys being in that toxic energy. You don't need to be that person. I feel like you're not. So you can choose to let go of that friendship or partnership. We have the Lovers in the reverse, implying that you have not yet made that decision. If this reading is for you, it's saying it's time for you to be a little bit more discerning or selective in terms of the people that you spend time with, the people that you allow in your energy. Actually, let's get some oracle cards. All right, this is the Dead Inside deck. What else do we have? Sorry, there we go. What else? Constantly exhausted. I feel like this is somebody who drains your energy, and you may not be fully attributing that exhaustion to this person that you're dealing with. You might have a lot going on in your own life, but that's exactly why you need to be conserving your energy and not tossing it out the window just to benefit this King of Swords in the reverse, Queen of Wands in the reverse person. Toxic but familiar. That's part of the problem here is there's some level of comfort that you have with this person. It could be because you've known them since you were 5 years old. It could be because you've fallen in love with them. But there is an attachment here, a dark attachment. They like that negative energy. They're not going to change it. And it prevents you from achieving the things that you are meant to achieve. So we have being too much again. Don't hate me, but that does kind of sound like fire energy. Rejection, overexpression, and shame. This is somebody who seems to overreact or throw a bit of a temper tantrum if there is somebody who's calling them on their mistakes or their toxic energy. Hello, 0110. You are welcome to put your question in a super chat and I will add it to the list for after the general reading. Otherwise, I do wish protective energy towards you. Hello, Grant. How are you doing? Hello, Rob. How's your day? Over-explaining everything. This negative attachment person, the King of Swords in the reverse, really likes to put you in a space where you feel like you have to explain why this doesn't work or why you can't do what they asked. This is someone who's probably using manipulative tactics such as gaslighting. They don't want to be honest about how their approach to life in general is intentionally skewed towards the negative. And they don't want to admit that they have control over certain elements in their life that would make it less likely that they dealt with all of this difficulty, disappointment, or struggle. They like being around your energy because it's comforting and loving with that divine feminine. They feel like you make things better, but then they always return to that problematic, like, I need more, this isn't good enough, right? We have this insatiable card, greed, and it's never enough, wanting more. Magnetic, unexplainable pull, and can't resist. I feel like this is someone who is quite charming, even though they have this dark attachment or a bit of a negative mindset. They have, maybe they're like a little bit of a comedian, maybe they're extremely successful, maybe they're very attractive, but they draw people in. And then once they have that person in their crosshairs, then the toxic energy really starts to ramp up. Hello, Sculpted. How are you doing? Receipts and interview. So you're being encouraged to have a conversation with this person. I do feel like you've gotten validation or confirmation in terms of how they handle things and the effect they have on you. But it's not easy to just sit somebody down and say, like, I don't think I can like talk to you anymore because everything that you do is like negative. But okay, bye. Have a good one. It may require a little bit of finesse or a little bit of making sure you find the right words that are direct but not brutal, right? But I think you're being encouraged to walk away from this connection, to walk away from this friendship, or if it's a family member, to go no contact, because it's, how are you ever supposed to make things better? How are you ever supposed to resolve this issue when nothing is ever good enough for this person? So we have tragedy and forbidden love. They like it when people are overexerting themselves and doing whatever they can to try to make things right, but they keep moving the goalpost, right? So you never really actually get to the point where you make the difference. Hello, Pat. How are you doing? Thank you for the sunshine. Hello, Bill. I hope you're having a good day. So this is saying you might be better off on your own. This person's energy is blocking you from the things that you are meant to be investing in. And it seems like they know what they're doing. They just don't like to be honest about it, or they don't want to admit it. This is the Gypsy Oracle. What else do we have, please? Melancholy, prison, and sweetheart. So it doesn't matter if you are a woman or not. They see you as this sweetheart, somebody that makes them feel better, kind of like that Queen of Cups energy or that divine feminine, right? So if I'm having a difficult day and I need someone to make me feel better, I know you'll be that person. But the reality is, I don't want to ever change any of the things that you tell me I need to change, like get out of that relationship or find a different job. I just like being able to yell and stomp my feet and be mad about things, right? Gift and servant. The thing is, you are able to light up a room with your energy, and your energy is wasted on this person, especially if this is a romantic connection, because then you have that physical intimacy as well. You are putting forth a lot of energy to this person that could be invested in a project or a professional pursuit or a creative endeavor. You are trying to help this person and they're not thankful for it. This seems to be a common theme today. Joyfulness. This is the energy that you bring to the table. And this is the energy that they bring to the table, melancholy. So, you know, people go through difficult times, but there's also people who choose to keep things in a negative space. Happy? No, I don't think I want to be happy. They're draining your energy and making it more difficult for you. And for some of you, they call that love, but it's not. It's just obsession or limerence or using someone. I don't need anything from you, Bill. Feel free to just enjoy the reading. I just like to say hello to people as they show up. Yes, I would say it's like Eeyore, although I have a soft spot in my heart for Eeyore. But yes, I mean, he's the epitome of that, right? The little rain cloud following him around. Old Burial Hill, the Judgment card. So this is telling you it's time to distance yourself from this friend or this partner. You are able to go through a transformation, as is the person you're dealing with. But as long as you're in this person's life, they feel like they don't need to go through that transformation, or they don't need to work on themselves, because you bring the positive, divine, feminine energy they lack. That would be like if you had a roommate who never bought their own Dr. Pepper because they knew you would always have some on hand, but then if you decide to move out, now they have to buy their own Dr. Pepper. I don't get paid for that. That's just the example I feel like using. Three of Candles or the Three of Wands with the Six of Candles or Six of Wands and the Hierophant. Especially if you're in a relationship with this person, you may struggle to see how things would ever get better with them, even though you really do care about them. And it's important to be honest with yourself about that, because even when you feel like you're about to get over that hill, then it happens again. So use that wisdom and that discernment. Be honest with yourself, because I think you've for a while been kind of questioning whether or not this is someone that you should continue to be around. And I really feel like they use you for that loving energy. There's that Queen of Wands in the reverse again, that imposter or insecure energy. And the Eight of Cups in the reverse. This is saying if you don't walk away from this person, that negative energy starts to impact your ability to live the life that you want or possess the energy that makes sense for you. It starts getting like tainted by that other person. All right, this is the Angel Romance Oracle. What else do we have, please? Healing family issues. So for many of you, this would be a family member, but that card can also mean the relationship, the romantic relationship you want with this person is blocked because they need to heal family issues. And there's also a reminder here, you deserve to be loved. You don't need to be mistreated and hang around for more mistreatment just because you feel bad for someone when they seem to be just fine with treating you the way they do. Time apart is on the horizon. Separation. And retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. So I feel like you have some time to yourself, a little bit of hermit energy coming through, and it enables you to see more clearly the impact that this person has on your energy, your day-to-day, and how you view yourself. You cannot be everything positive for this person. They have to find that light within themselves and be able to work from there with that. They can't make you do all the heavy lifting. And in terms of healing, they have to have ownership over that. All right, let's see. Let's see what we have for Flower. What guidance do we have for Flower, please? What guidance do we have for Flower? Seven of Swords in the reverse. Two of Swords in the reverse. And the Five of Swords in the reverse. My. So we have somebody here being encouraged to make things right, who is supposed to be making things right. Being honest about what's been going on. This is Page of Wands in the reverse and the Three of Cups. Is this someone who has been romantically involved with Flower? No. Is this a family member? Okay. So I feel like you're going to get some additional information from your son. I feel like there's going to be maybe even a confession or validation from his father. But I do feel like there is more of the truth being revealed, more of what your son has said being confirmed. Perhaps a confession. It may not be a full confession. It might be like, I stole half the cookie from the cookie jar, but I did not steal the entire cookie, I swear. We've got the Hierophant in the reverse. This is somebody who is, I feel like this is like a halfway apology or a halfway confession. And the Queen of Chalices in the reverse. This person's manipulative. So the advice here seems to be on your guard, use your intuition and your discernment. Is there going to be more? I do feel like there's going to be more confession or truth telling down the road, but there seems to be some like kind of breadcrumbing. You're just getting a little bit at a time. Hello, Jamike. How are you doing? Hello, Missy. You say bye and I say hello. Whatever. And what about help with the Sun? Magician and the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. Is this about the lawyer? Yes, with justice. I like that. I feel like you've got a good lawyer on your hands. This is somebody who is going to take this seriously, and I feel like they're well-versed. They know what's going on. They know how to help you. So is the confession coming because of the lawyer? Is that why we have additional information? No. There's some other reason why the baby daddy is being a little bit more honest. And then I feel like more of the truth is revealed because of the lawyer. So it's like bite-sized truths coming through. Will things be resolved with this? Yes. I do see a positive outcome with this, and it is looking to me like you chose an excellent lawyer, or the lawyer is going to have a positive impact here. And what about Lucas? What does Flower need to know about Lucas, please? Star, Judgment, and the Four of Wands in the reverse. Why the Four of Wands in the reverse? So I don't feel like this person is rushing into a committed relationship, but I do feel like they have the potential to invest in something new. This is saying do not rush anything with Lucas. But this is someone who has worked and seems to have a commitment to themselves to work on themselves. There is a big change coming to Lucas's life, and it's going to be a bit of a fork in the road. Trying to pursue something with you is impacted by this decision. So it could be he's considering moving, or a new job offer comes in, or there's some sort of family obligation. But this it impacts whether or not the two of you could have some sort of long-term dalliance. Is flower on the right track? Yes. You know, still keep your eyes peeled. Make sure that you are looking out for more information, but you are on the right track. We have the devil and death. You have some fear that you're not doing enough. Give yourself a pat on the back. Take a little bit of a rest. You don't have to be moving all the hours of the day. You are on the right track. Things are changing in the way that they need to, and something is ending that needs to end. I feel like that is the issue with the baby daddy. So you're on the right track. Things are moving in the right direction, and you have some good advice or partnership here with the lawyer. Anything else? The Hermit and the Seven of Pentacles. I do feel like there's more information that's going to be revealed regarding the situation with your son, but things are moving in the right direction. Again, because you've taken the appropriate actions. So you should definitely give yourself a high five or, you know, eat some really delicious cheese, enjoy a glass of wine. Hello, Mark. How are you doing? That's fair. I hope you get to go to sleep soon. Hello, Sean. All right, y'all. I'm going to leave it there. I love you. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for hyping if you're able to. And I'll see you on the next reading. Toodles.